This is without doubt one of the most bullish weeks I have ever seen in crypto. Things that would normally take months or years to play out have all happened in just 1 week. This week, the institutional whales have entered the arena, all wanting a slice of the crypto pie, and making me even more certain that the next bull run is going to be the biggest one yet. And so in this video, we'll take a look at how this bull run is comparing against the previous ones, how to protect your downside from a potential 50% drop, and then we'll finish up with the crazy news that's all dropped this week. As always, if you do enjoy anything in the video, then drop a like, and a big thank you to everyone who does. Okay, so first up now, before we get too carried away and sell our houses, spouses, and kidneys to go all in, let's just get some insight on how this bull market is comparing against the previous ones. So, starting with keeping some perspective, this is my bull market tracker, as it's a great one chart that shows the big bull runs that have happened and also the crypto winters. And it centers around the halving, which is the line through the middle. And this is how many days? So this is about 3 months, days towards the halving. So we're less than 1 year away. Now, just to put in perspective, this massive God candle that had just been printed over the last week is just this little run here, not as big as it initially looks, right? And so with the crazy news that's happened, it makes me more certain we are going to get another crazy run up involving institutions and banks. But this also highlights that the downside is not yet over. So green, this was the last cycle that had happened. This was the big COVID flash crash. So this is a bit of an anomaly. But before then, crypto did actually come down over 50%. And this was getting closer and closer to the halving, so it can happen. I don't think it's just going to be a straight line up. Another thing worth pointing out is that this sort of bathtub drop that we had here is getting more and more likely that this was the bottom, because even if crypto does drop 50%, it's still going to be testing this area. So as time goes on, this is getting more and more likely that the bottom will be in. We do have to factor in this time that because of a crazy inverted yield curve and inflation and a potential recession, there still might be some headwinds over the next 6 months. But more on this a little bit later. And now for the crazy news that has all dropped this week. So, starting with, a massive mobile company has joined Polygon as a validator. And normally, news like this by itself would be really big news, but I am starting small. Then, we have an olive oil producer issuing a stablecoin denominated bond on a DeFi platform. More of how everything is going to be tokenized. And this is French agriculture. Then we know that there's massive demand right now for short-term government bonds, as interest rates are really high, so loads of investors are piling into money market funds. Well, how about a crypto investing platform, Finblock, offering tokenized treasuries. So you can get tokenized versions of short-term government bonds, making it super easy to buy and benefit from government bonds via crypto. But this is small fry to what has happened, because we had the Bank of China issuing tokenized securities, again bonds on Ethereum. So massive bullish news for Ethereum fans, as the continuation of China leapfrogging the US. So the news that Hong Kong said the Bank of China investment had issued around $30 million of digital structured notes, so bonds on the Ethereum blockchain. So this is a subsidiary of the Bank of China, but it is still state-owned, and it's China's second largest bank. Massive news, but still just part of this crazy week. Now, everyone in crypto is probably getting sick of Gary Gensler, and amazingly, as part of this week, we had some US lawmakers file an SEC Stabilization Act, and included into that is firing Gary Gensler. So even members of Congress want Gary Gensler out, bringing a nice smile to everyone in crypto. People have had enough. Then this was the big one, the mega whale $10 trillion asset manager BlackRock entering the arena and filing a Bitcoin spot ETF. So obviously this is incredibly bullish and legitimizes crypto. And soon after, we had $87 billion asset manager Wisdom Tree filing for their spot Bitcoin ETF, then $1.5 trillion asset manager Invesco reactivating their Bitcoin ETF, then Bitwise reactivating their Bitcoin ETF, then Valkyrie joins the crypto gold rush, pushing for their spot ETF. So institutions clambering over themselves to get involved. And if that wasn't enough, the news continued. We had Deutsche Bank in Europe applying for the digital asset license so they can custody your crypto, more banks wanting to get involved. And if that wasn't enough, hot off the press today, Santander, one of their asset arms, has just received their crypto custody license as well, and this is in France. More banks getting involved with crypto. And finally, if all that wasn't enough to get you salivating, we had Citadel, Fidelity, and Schwab's crypto exchange for institutions going live in the US, making this probably the most bullish week crypto has ever seen. And as mentioned, before we go rushing out, we do need to keep our heads on our shoulders. So yes, from what I can see, there's two main scenarios that might play out. So Bitcoin's really retesting this $30,000 level. If it manages to break through, this will probably be confirmation that it will never be going down to these prices again, and probably quickly going on to 40,000. So do you have enough crypto? Full transparency, I actually made a purchase this week on this crazy news. And for me, this was what if I'm wrong money, and it begins to take off. However, that was just around 20% of available money, because there is the thesis pretty much every time the yield curve has uninverted and the US goes into recession, then risk assets do drop. So this 30,000 could potentially get cut in half back down to 15,000. So do you have a plan in place in case that happens? But again, it's still getting really unlikely that crypto is going to be going lower than what it's done here. Now, traders will trade, hodlers will hodl. So all I'm saying is just don't be blindsided saying everything can go up. Have a plan for both directions. So, as you saw, this week has been a ridiculously bullish week for crypto, with the biggest investment whale, BlackRock, entering the arena. We've had tokenized US bonds, we've had China tokenizing bonds on Ethereum, more banks registering for crypto custody, Citadel, Schwab, and Fidelity going live with their crypto exchange, and then after BlackRock, a whole flurry of billion and trillion dollar asset managers all clambering over each other trying to get involved. And all of this in just 1 week. My prediction is 3 years from now, when your friends and family are asking, when did you get involved in crypto? And you say, well, it's when Bitcoin was down about 50% from its all-time high and before any of the Bitcoin ETFs went live. They are going to say to you, you were so lucky. However, just remember, before we run out and sell a kidney, with the yield curve uninverting and still a potential recession looming, crypto could still do a 50% drop from here. So just have a game plan for either direction, even if it's just hodling throughout. But what a ridiculously good buying opportunity that would be. So there you are, guys. Hope you enjoyed. What a crazy week it's been, and I think even the most hardened bears will have had second thoughts this week. And for now, just to say, if you did enjoy anything in the video, then drop a like, and a big thank you to everyone who does, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.